You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife, the Playboy interview. Before we delve into the meat of the interview itself, let's consider how is it that a so-called feminist got herself in a position of having an interview with Playboy? The first might be, oh, I didn't know what Playboy was, I just thought it was a magazine. That doesn't wash. Everybody knows what Playboy is. And certainly someone like Harry's wife will be well aware of what it is. Indeed, her narcissism will have been pleased by what it is. Reason being, she considers herself gorgeous and irresistible, and therefore she would believe, here's an opportunity for me to talk about myself, and for these men, these randy men that are pulling their pud, leafing through this magazine, they'll come across an interview with me in between bouts, and they'll be seduced by my beauty, by my wisdom, by my intelligence, and they will want to know more of me, and they'll want to be with me. That is the level of delusion that she operates by, believing that automatically anybody who meets her wants her because she's so desirable and so irresistible. Her narcissism recognizes that Playboy is a useful platform for her to assert control over the readership, that it can draw fuel from the responses, that she will draw thought fuel from imagining all these men lusting after her and nodding in appreciation at what she has to say. It's doubtful that she would have been paid for it, although a fee might have been involved, and more likely at this point in time, it was based upon her getting a greater level of exposure. And of course, she doesn't care about the fact that it's Playboy, all of a sudden being the 11-year-old that's always advocated from that age for women, goes out of the window. Why? Because those feminist principles aren't actually tied to anything. They are just as disposable as the interview itself. In order to get to the prime aims, her narcissism picks and chooses the means by which it does so. And if feminism can be used on Monday and jettisoned on Tuesday for her to appear in Playboy, then so be it. And she, blinded by the way that her narcissism functions, doesn't see that there's anything wrong with this. She doesn't think to herself, hang on a second, I'm a feminist and I don't agree with appearing in Playboy because that objectifies women, so I'm not going to do it. Instead, great, a platform for me, fantastic, more exposure, just what I need. And that's why she came to be interviewed, because it serves her purposes, and because she has no sense of guilt, conscience, remorse, or moral fibre. She doesn't consider the hypocrisy of a feminist appearing in this publication. Thus, that's how she's ended up being there. But let's find out what nonsense she has to offer. It's described as femme on fire, women to watch for, which of course is the kind of flattery that Harry's wife would revel in, believing that she was bound for bigger and better things, which, as it happens, did turn out to be the case. A commonly agreed upon fact by guys is that in law enforcement, be it the uniformed highway cop, congressional aide, or, if you're lucky, parole officer, we are more than willing to be talked down to by a ravishing beauty than local officer Bob. Epitomizing this fantasy is our gorgeous woman to watch this week, who steals every scene with her sexy as hell looks, cutthroat backtalk, and cunning ability to make playing hard to get a game we'd indulge in all day or night long. So the first thing it is all about the fantasy of having a hot female cop chat to you and talk you down and say, you've been a bad boy, Billy Bob. And it's based upon looks, of course. Hot as hell. Sexy as hell. Yes, all good feminist stuff so far. After getting her start as one of the case girls on Deal or No Deal years ago, our newest femme on fire found her groove in hit crime dramas CSI New York and Without a Trace, which led to a recurring role as FBI Special Agent Amy Jessup in paranormal thriller series Fringe. Returning to television sets nationwide tomorrow night on USA's quirky law film drama is none other than the gorgeous Harry's wife. On Suits, Harry's wife plays the spunky Rachel Zane, an ambitious, whip-smart paralegal ready to do what it takes to get where she wants. Rachel also plays an instrumental part in keeping new associate and law school pretender Mike Ross, Patrick J. Adams, out of trouble at firm Pearson Hardman. Harry's wife took a moment to check in with us while filming to chat about the upcoming season, playing with politics and the risks of a casting couch. Playboy.com. You used to work in foreign affairs at the US Embassy in Buenos Aires. Right. Is that what she told them? I used to work in foreign affairs. This, of course, is the typical grandiosity of Harry's wife, the embellishment that occurs because she was an intern that was obtained by her uncle, and she wasn't there for that long at all. It had been something like a month or two's internship, almost like an apprenticeship, doing filing and photocopying, and to suggest that she worked in foreign affairs makes her sound like she's the ambassador there. They ask, what convinced you to shift to modelling and acting? So they're framing it as if she's this brilliant mind that's involved in cultivating relations between the United States and Argentina, and then, I tire of the ambassadors' parties. I'm no longer interested in what the attaché has to say. I'm going to be a model and act instead. Harry's wife then responds, I hated the idea of being this cliché girl, even though, of course, she exists through them, who grew up in Los Angeles and decided to be an actress. I ended up going to school and doing a double major in theatre and international relations because I was passionate about acting, but also the world of politics. My senior year, I went to Buenos Aires, initially as an intern, and they were short-staffed after the devaluation in Argentina. So I ended up with my own office. Bullshit, she did. Bullshit. She'll have been in a room with about 20 other people with a desk squashed into the corner and sitting in a motorcade with the Secretary of the Treasury at the time. I don't believe that happened. Harry's wife, revision of history. I came home for a holiday and a friend suggested I get into the industry. I gave it a shot and it's working. Oh, it's so easy for you, aren't you? You're so talented, Harry's wife. There you are, swanning around at the ambassador's party. You've got your own office. You're sitting in a motorcade with the Secretary of Treasury who's probably saying, oh, Harry's wife-to-be, could you perhaps explain to me some of the fundamentals of how we deal with the devaluation in Argentina? And Harry's wife, of course, in the movie of her own mind, takes off her glasses, shakes out her hair, prompting the Secretary of Treasury to say, oh, but why, Miss Harry's wife-to-be? You're so beautiful. And then, do you know what? I tire of all of this. I'm going to give it a shot in acting. And then look how successful I am. It's nothing to do with the fact that my first or second husband or my dad helped me. No. Playboy.com then asks, what's been the most challenging role you've had on TV or film so far? Harry's wife, it has to be, from playing a full arc, is playing the role of Rachel Zane. Well, it has to be, because all her other roles are so bit part, unmemorable, blink and you'll miss them appearances. The writers and creator have created such a strong and complex female role. Yeah. You mean, basically she spends half of her time with her clothes off. Past roles, like recurring on Fringe, that was challenging just because of how physically strong I had to be, kicking down doors and what not. I will say working on Suits, I've tried to create a nice arc for where I see Rachel starting and where I see her going. It's just word salad, isn't it? Where did you see her starting then, and where did you see her going? Playboy.com. How would you describe your character, Harry's wife? I mean, Rachel. Harry's wife, incredibly intelligent, polished. When we see her first in season 1, she's a little jaded, always dealing with these hotshot associates. But then we see her soften a bit. She's not a lawyer on the show yet, but I hope we will see that down the road. For now, she's just a savvy paralegal who likes to eat. And then she laughs. Fascinating. You mean that's how you see yourself, not Rachel. Playboy.com. Rachel comes off as confident, sexy, and ambitious. The only time we see a crack in that facade is when she attempts to hire Mike to take the bar exam for her. Have you ever taken a risk to get ahead? Harry's wife. All of the risks that I've taken have been eradicated from the internet. No, as an auditioning or actress, you take all sorts of risks. And no, I'm not talking about any casting couches! ! I dare say you've been on a few of those, though. Also, when I was at the US Embassy, I'll bring that up again, much like Rachel, I was trying to take the Foreign Service exam and I could not pass it. Yes, because you're thick. So I think it's funny, the parallels that come up between myself and Rachel. Wow. Thanks for those stories about risks. There weren't any. Playboy.com. Last season of Suits ended on a major cliffhanger, with Mike's secret about to be revealed to Jessica. What happens after the break? Harry's wife. You know I can't tell you that. But I can say that by the end of the first episode, not all of the cliffhangers have been resolved. I think the viewers and audience will be happy with it. By episode 2 and 3, you will definitely see where things stand. Playboy.com. We see a glimpse of Rachel getting frisky in the office. What are your views on office PDAs? Harry's wife. I think in an effort to save your job, you will probably not want an office PDA. My only comp for working in an office was at the embassy, bringing that up again. And I'm sure frisky things go on behind closed doors. I just wasn't privy to them. Bullshit. Playboy.com. What is it like fictionally working in the legal industry? Would you ever consider it? Harry's wife. Paralegals do not dress like Rachel Zane, so I do like the TV perk of the outfits. Laughs. The sexiness in which they dress me. I think the way in which I speak sells it as though I know what I'm talking about. Playboy.com. What's next for you? Harry's wife. I look forward to playing around and doing some fun stuff on hiatus, but we're shooting until October with our Suits family. I'd love to do an indie film or delve into a big budget feature. Playboy.com. What's on your iPod? Harry's wife. I'm on the Foster the People kick, but my all-time favourite is Girl Talk. Playboy.com. What was your first Playboy? Harry's wife. I've been told that there are some great articles. Yes, that's what everybody goes to Playboy for. Dirty perv bloke in his stained Mac shuffles off down back in the day to the newsagent and goes,
Oh, hello. Could I have a Playboy, please? I believe there's a really interesting article about inflation inside of it.
Yeah, sure he does. But she carries on by saying, but I was a Catholic schoolgirl. Playboy was not what I was looking at. But I'm flattered that you guys wanted to chat with me. Oh, so it's basically, I don't know anything about Playboy because I'm completely naive, but I'll throw a compliment your way. Another asinine, anodyne, boring interview with Harry's wife where she can only talk about her internship, but makes it sound like she was the ambassador, and yet again talking about Suits. Entertainingly, there are 3 comments underneath. Anonymous wrote 8 months ago, OIC, and much respect to a woman who balances sass with wisdom, I hope. Then, 6 months ago, Anonymous wrote, very sexy woman. I guess Harry was told to write that. And then just a day ago, oh my God, new top of my list, and best part is, my wife approves. She's smart and sexy as shit. Again, probably Harry encouraged to write that also. So that's the Playboy interview. The hypocrite gets interviewed and once again demonstrates how utterly dull and boring she is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.